Have you ever found yourself seamlessly scrolling through your social media apps, feeling drained from all the content you're consuming, your eyes burn from staring at the screen all day, your body aches because you haven't moved an inch in a few hours? Well, if this is you, then like me, I recommend a dopamine detox. A dopamine detox basically means not using your phone for a total of 7 days. Now, I know it sounds like it's gonna be hard, and it probably is, but only for the first few days. And you're probably asking yourself, well, I need to use my phone for work, or I need to use my phone to call my mom, to check the weather. Well, all of that takes about an hour or less, but yet you use your phone 3 to 4 hours a day. So I promise you that you're not gonna need your phone for these next 7 days. So the whole point of this challenge is not to use the phone for pleasure. So as long as you're avoiding using the phone to get any type of pleasure, meaning consuming any content, seamlessly scrolling through the apps, or just finding yourself using the phone when you don't have to. It's about avoiding that altogether. So the reason I decided to do this detox was because I found myself spending too many hours on my phone. The laundry was piling up, so were the dishes. That list that I made a year ago of things I wanted to accomplish was just collecting dust. And I asked myself, what is it that I want my life to look like? And what am I doing to actually create that life? And when I found that I spent more hours doing things that weren't productive at all, I realized I needed to make a change. And one of the main factors that I saw was my phone. What I think the phone does is just makes you unmotivated to do anything. Because you're watching content all the time, you're getting dopamine. So you feel good in the moment, but right after you feel like shit, because that's dopamine, right? It doesn't last forever. So you say one more video and then you watch it and you feel good. And then once the video is done and you realize that you just spent 4 hours doing nothing, that's when the guilt starts coming in. That's when you start feeling like shit. So it's about avoiding that altogether and using your time wisely. So I said enough is enough. I was tired of having headaches because of staring at the screen all day. And I really wanted to start doing things that were gonna make my life better. I also didn't want to miss out on any more opportunities. Because we're so used to using our phone as soon as we wake up, it's especially hard in the morning. So what I decided to do was to keep the phone in the living room so I wouldn't be tempted. And at first it was hard because your body just naturally reacts to things. So I was laying in bed trying to search for my phone under my pillow, and I was like, oh, I forgot I'm doing a dopamine detox. My phone is not in the room. And at first, there were times where I actually got up and would go to the living room to see like any notifications or anything. But one of the things that I recommend is like deleting any apps, turning off your notifications. So it's about avoiding using your phone. So if you ever do feel triggered to use it, once you actually have it in your hands, you realize, okay, this is not useful because I turned off everything. So that helped me out a lot in the first few days. So throughout the day, I think that it's a bit easier to avoid using your phone just because you're busy with work, you're busy, doing chores or all those tedious tasks you have to do throughout the day. So the reason why it's so hard not to use your phone in the morning is because in the morning, it's like when you first wake up, you have nothing to do and you're a little bit tired, so you really don't want to get up and you just want something to do while you lay down. But it's important to incorporate things that are actually going to be beneficial to you. So instead of using your phone, one of the things that I did was I decided to start taking a walk during the morning. I live in a very warm area, so it's good for me to get some sunlight, be able to get some fresh air straight in the morning. And at first it was a little bit hard because it wasn't something that I was used to, and I felt a bit tired when I would wake up. As the days were going by, I would get more and more energy in the morning, and I was actually looking forward to waking up and being able to take a walk, being able to take in the sunlight, be able to feel the fresh breeze, listening to the birds in the morning. It was really peaceful and it really sets a tone for the rest of your day. So I found myself with a positive attitude going to work. I found myself trying to incorporate more of nature throughout my day. So for example, during my lunch break, when I usually would just stay in my office, instead of scrolling through social media, watching a bunch of videos online, I decided to go for a walk as well. And I found myself being more active, being more present in the moment, being able to actually talk to the people in my office. So aside from walking, I started reading my book, and I found myself like intrigued to read more chapters instead of just trying to rush through the minutes. For example, like I will set myself 10 minutes of reading. I found myself wanting more. Like now I read for an hour, and it's just realizing that all these things that are good for you you kind of put aside and try to rush through just to get to your phone and just to sit on your phone for 3 to 4 hours. And when you flip that, it really makes a difference in your life, because now the things that you were putting aside or rushing through, you're actually taking time to realize why these things are actually good for you. So being able to read, it made me more intrigued in how the world works. Being able to walk made me more active, made me realize that being present makes me feel good. Because you do get dopamine from watching content all day on your social media apps. But the thing is that, does it last? Like afterwards, do you feel good about yourself? And most of the times you don't. But when you go on a walk, like you feel good in the moment and afterwards, because you realize you accomplished something good. So that's what made me realize that, okay, I'm going in the right direction. So these are things that I started to do during the first few days, just trying to incorporate more time for myself, more time to do productive things. But then as the weekend started approaching, which is usually when I spend time with my family and things like that, being out with my family made me realize that I'm actually a good listener. And it made me more intrigued in what they had to say and being more engaging and actually connecting with that person that was sitting right next to me. And I feel like sometimes with our phone, we forget to have that connection with the other person. We forget to look at them in the eyes. We forget to hug them and kiss them just because we're trying to get to our phone and watch some videos. We forget to truly connect with the people around us, to truly appreciate the things that matter and the things that truly make us feel good. So now that I was seeing how much my life can change in just a few days, I started planning what I wanted to do with all this time that I was now going to have free. And there was this business plan which I really wanted to do, which was to do YouTube videos. And it was something that I prolonged for years. And I always felt like, oh, I don't have time to do this, because of work, working 40 hours, coming home, having to do the dishes, having to cook, having to be social. Like, I'm not going to have time to work on my goals or like what I want to do to be financially stable or to, do something that's for me instead of a corporation. So now that I was doing this dopamine detox, I found myself with 2 to 3 hours to spare throughout my day. And I was able to start writing scripts. I was able to start writing ideas, brainstorming what I wanted to do. I realized that I was just using my time in the wrong way. Because when you think about it, billionaires and millionaires, right? They have the same 24 hours as us. But it's how they use their 24 hours and how we use it. And we love to, make excuses, to blame that we don't have the resources, to blame that we don't have the time. But all of that's bullshit. All of that is bullcrap. Like, if you want something, you can make it happen. It's about realizing you're the one that's gonna have to make a difference. You're the one that has to realize, all right, how do I want to spend my time? What are the things that are most meaningful to me? What do I want to feel like in the morning when I wake up? Do I want to wake up and stare at a screen and watch what other people are doing, listen to all the gossip, all the bad news straight as I wake up? Or should I truly embrace the earth that I'm on? Go watch the sunrise, go listen to the birds, go get that fresh air. That sets a tone for the rest of your day. That's why the morning is such an important time. And once you realize that, once you, start being present, start being intentional with the relationships you have around you, that's when you realize, okay, this phone is a distraction. This phone is taken away from me living my true life. This is something that's not real, right? It's a toy that we need to learn how to use in a form that's going to help us progress, not deteriorate our creativity or productivity, right? So it's about learning when to use it, because you can use it to watch motivational videos. You can use it to learn new skills. Like, I'm not saying the phone is the worst thing to be created. It's actually a great tool and asset to have. But as soon as you start consuming, that's when it shifts, right? Everything you watch, you need to ask yourself, what am I learning? And that's something that you learn to shift when you do this detox, because you realize that a lot of times, half of the things you're watching, if you were to take off the color, right, if you were to make it black and white, you wouldn't even pay attention to it. So the main purpose is to realize that your phone is an object. It's something that you use. It shouldn't be using you. So you should control what content you consume and how much of your time you want to be dedicated to consuming. Because what can also happen is that you watch motivational videos all day and you're saying, oh, well, I am using my phone, but at least it's something productive. Okay, but what are you getting out of it? Are you actually applying what you're learning? Are you actually getting up out of your bed and doing these things that you're listening someone else tell you to do for days and days in. So you got to hold yourself accountable. And this detox was like the best thing that I did, because it was for 7 days, but it implemented a routine for me that's gonna last forever. Because now it's a rule for me that I do not use my phone in the morning. I do not use it when I go to bed. And I definitely don't use it when I'm around other people, because we need to truly understand that this is a tool to be used. So when I use the phone, I know that, okay, when I grab this phone is because whatever I'm gonna see on here is gonna teach me something valuable. It's gonna make me a better person. Or else I'm not gonna grab the phone, because then what happens is you're wasting your life. And there's nothing worse than getting to old age and regretting spending your whole life on a phone instead of living it with true intention. So I hope that you're able to see that through this video, and that you're intrigued to do this dopamine challenge like I was, and you will see the benefits, you know, as soon as you do it. And I think it's something that everyone should do. And now with so much technology that we have around us, it's just good to disconnect and try to find what's our purpose, you know, what we find meaningful. And it will teach you a lot, you know, it will make you question a lot of the things, you know, it will make you question the people you have around you. So my main goal in this video was to make you realize that in order to live a life with intention, you got to live with no regrets. So make sure that every second of your day, you're devoting it to you, to a better you, and to truly just question all the things that you do in order to live a life of intention. Because I chose to live a life with intention and a life with no regrets. What do you choose?